Life Rhythms with Ryan Skyy. Observing the world around me, looking inward, trying to make sense of it all.
Hey guys, welcome to Life Rhythms radio show. I'm your host, DJ producer Ryan Skyy. Got a very special guest today. I've got Norwegian DJ Matoma who's going to be joining me. Matoma is crushing it. He's a beloved DJ. His Spotify numbers are through the roof. He's hovering around 9 million monthly listeners. And the reason I mention that is because if you listen to Matoma's music, the energy and the vibe, the positive vibes that he has just radiates through the music, and it really resonates with his fans, and you can see it in the numbers. But the reason I'm having Matoma on today, we're going to be featuring his song The Bender, which you heard a little bit of it coming into this episode, and we're going to be talking about how the past influences the present, because The Bender samples Earth, Wind & Fire's September, where it riffs off of the September track. And so what I thought it would be cool to talk about how Matoma's past, talk about some of his influences and how it has affected him as a man today. So we're going to have Matoma on the show. Tell you a little bit about Life Rhythms. Life Rhythms is a radio show. It revolves around my personal growth journey as a DJ and songwriter, music producer. I spent a lot of time observing the world around me, looking inward, trying to make sense of it all. And I've been doing it in song form. Now I'm doing it with my radio show. So I'm excited to have Matoma on. And so, okay, we're talking about how the past influences the present. And it can be said that the human brain, first of all, scientists have realized that the human brain can store memories of everything that happens in our lives. And it's kind of crazy because we only use 5% of our brain for the conscious part, and then 95% of it is all unconscious. Just to put this into perspective, because the human brain is so fascinating to me. Your brain can store the equivalent of 2.5 million gigabytes of digital memory. So to put that into perspective, Yahoo, their entire computational center, processes 24 billion events a day. Yahoo's entire system is 20% smaller than your capacity in your brain. So you really do store everything that happens to you in your life. And it can be said that you're the net sum of your entire life's experience. I wrote a quote on the topic for today, and the quote goes like this. It can be said that we are the net sum of our entire life's experience playing out in real time. Every person you've met and memory that you have has imprinted on your personality. History repeats itself and cycles through life with the hope that we continue to evolve and learn from where we've been and where we are going. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, I'm going to have Matoma joining me along with my manager and co-host, Scott Waldman. We're going to be talking about his track, The Bender, and how the past influences the present right after this break. Hey guys, welcome to Life Rhythms radio show. I am your host, DJ producer Ryan Skyy. I've got a very special guest today, Matoma. Hey Matoma.
Hey, what's up? Nice to be joining you guys all the way from Norway.
Yes.
On this amazing Zoom session. Woohoo!
Yeah, baby, we got this. We got LA and Norway in the house today. And I also have my manager and co-host, Scott Waldman. Hey, Scott.
Well, baby, it's okay. We're even.
So what would Life Rhythms be without a lyric tie-in? We're featuring Matoma's song today, The Bender. And so Matoma, he made his debut in 2015. Rolling Stone declared him the leader of Tropical House's next big wave. Matoma scored a breakout success in 2015 with his gold-certified single, Old Thing Back. Since then, he's made waves with collaborations with Jason Derulo, Jennifer Lopez, Dua Lipa, The Vamps, as well as remixes for artists including Coldplay, One Direction, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Sean Paul. The list goes on. So you've been busy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been keeping myself busy. Like when you read it like that, I get like time flash about my musical career, and sometimes I think growing up in Norway, growing up like in a small town, 1,000 people, it's it's a lot to digest, especially now in this time where everything just stopped and you kind of get grounded. You can't travel that much, and you really start thinking about your career. And I'm looking at my wall here, and I have like all these all these plaques of like.
Yeah, I see Biggie. I see Biggie in the background.
Biggie's here. This was actually a birthday gift from my agent when I turned 25 years old. Like a really famous painter in LA that painted it. And
which one?
Oh, it's a secret.
Is it Mr. Have you seen Exit Through the Gift Shop? The documentary?
I don't think it's him though. But
it just reminded me of the street
I was supposed to play at his wedding this summer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it ended up being canceled because of like the whole COVID situation. So I'm a bit disappointed and sad about that. But as long as people are staying inside, staying safe, taking care of each other, in Norway, like we have the best system in the world. Like no doubt about it. Like the socialism, like the government taking care of its people. Like I'm just lucky to be one of those where you don't have to worry about your day-to-day life, because I cannot imagine how difficult it is I can't imagine like how difficult it is for a lot of people in the world right now. Like, and I'm just really thankful for having the opportunity to sit here in my studio and create music and be with my family and be with my girl. So.
And be with Biggie.
Yeah. And with Biggie. And that makes me reminisce on like the days like when I broke. I'm living in Trondheim. It's the third biggest city in Norway. It's where the country starts to narrow, and to all Americans that may think that Norway is the main capital of Sweden, it's not. It's on the coast of Sweden. We have a beautiful coastline. We have beautiful mountains. We have
waterfalls.
fjords.
I've seen some videos of the waterfalls. That's on my bucket list. They look so beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And 2022, dude.
2022.
We'll get there. Hey, I want to put into perspective, because we had mentioned Biggie, the painting in the background, and for our listeners, I had mentioned in 2015 Matoma's breakout with "Old Thing Back." So he had sampled Biggie's. You sampled Biggie in the track, and actually, it's interesting. I first found out about you with that song, and when I used to close some of my DJ sets with "Old Thing Back." And
my remix or the original?
With your remix. I used to close my DJ sets with your remix, and it was because my sets are more housey, but that song was a really nice way to end the night.
Like the night?
Yeah, because it's when just got a really nice groove.
When all the boys are taking the girls back home and like
so that's
like Sweet Caroline,
or vice versa. Like all the girls are taking the boys back home, like.
Right.
So, but no, thank you for that. Like I think the years of college and just experimenting with sounds, having fun and being a student DJ and DJing in the student communities. I was DJing in the bodega and in the like lounge section here in Trondheim, and I was just enjoying life. And with that, my curiosity to music came because I was taking a bachelor in music technology and production at the university here, and I found it hard to find inspiration to do the theses and do the assignments because it was very academic. But I found a way where I could take the academic part of it and put into popular music, and my contribution to that was making my own saxophone sound, like my own saxophone plugin. So on Old Thing Back, that's the saxophone being played.
That sax solo is nice. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
I didn't realize you made that. Wow.
So I sampled the saxophone like I did.
It's really nice.
I did 6 or 8 takes of every note in different velocities, and then also with the hammering on the saxophone, and I also in the coding of the plugin, I put in like this authentic pitch bend.
Okay.
Because usually it's hard to pitch bend on the saxophone. Like you have to use your breathing technique to do it, and not many can do that. So I I implemented like a fake pitch bend into the saxophone.
Yeah, like a little portamento going on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you still produce in Cubase?
Yes, I do.
Yeah? Okay. I use Ableton.
Oh, yeah. So
Yeah.
I was an Ableton guy.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, I was.
And you switched?
When I went to music school, we tried out Logic, we tried out Ableton, and we tried out. I think we even tried out Pro Tools, but for me, Cubase has always been my number one. So I ended up going back to Cubase, and I've sticked with it since. So
that's awesome. Let's dive into the track we're featuring, The Bender. So here on Life Rhythms, what we do is it's a personal growth show. And so I use the song as a jumping off point for a personal growth topic. And today, so what I love about The Bender is that it riffs off of Earth, Wind, and Fire's September. So I was thinking about what I want to talk about today. And I love, so, you know, it's a classic song from, I think it was like 78, bringing it into the present. And I thought it would be cool for us to talk today about how the past influences the present. We could talk about your past and what your influences have been in the show.
100%.
Cool. So the song "The Bender" features Brando as the vocalist, and listeners. So Brando, he was in Loud Luxury's Body, right? Featured in Body, and I was reading that his dad managed Earth, Wind, and Fire's songwriters.
Yeah, that's correct. So
it's pretty cool.
When we worked together, we had the Diamond Pistols in as well on the co-production, and I remember sitting in the studio with them, all of them actually, both Brando and Diamond Pistol. Like we thought like it would be really cool to do something like do a remake of an old classic, and I said usually on my sets, because I just came off Ultra and I came off like big festivals, and I had this mashup of September with like this amazing EDM song. I don't recall. I think it was like. Oh,
is it the Green Day? Oh, no, I'm thinking of the Green Day September.
When September ends.
Yeah, but do you know the DJs from Mars? They did a Green Day September.
Yeah, I remember. But
not that one.
Yeah,
but you had a mashup. Okay.
Yeah, this one was a bit more present, and I was playing it, and I thought like that was one of the best songs in my sets, like reacting to the crowd, and everybody was just singing along, and so I said to Brando and Diamond Pistols that what about like making a remake of September, and I said like maybe we can do a remix, or we can do and funny thing was that when I said that, Brando said like, oh, but my dad, who's my manager, he managed one of the songwriters on the song, and we can easily tweak the lyrics and get away with the publishing. So let's do it.
That kind of gives me chills a little bit about the universe working. I mean, here you're making a suggestion. Yeah. What are the odds that?
Well, another random thing that you guys probably didn't even realize is we're recording this right now on the first day of September.
Yeah. I was going to say that.
The first lyric is, do you remember the very first night of September? So as of now, I don't.
As of now, we don't.
It's pretty cool to be starting September off with this interview, and we're talking about this song. September is obviously the main focus of the record.
That'd be a really long dad joke if I planned it that way, but I didn't.
That would have been a long dad joke.
Yeah.
But, here we are, and we're having a good time.
Yeah.
The only thing that is missing is a cup of coffee, but I'm going to bed soon because the time differences makes it a bit like we're 9 hours ahead of you guys in LA. So
you had me thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the record. I was reading about September, the original September that you riffed off of, and so just kind of like the inspiration behind the original record. According to NPR, Maurice White, the lead singer of Earth, Wind, and Fire, he got the idea for the song in a hotel room in Washington, D.C., while there was some kind of protest going on. And then he says, quote, "There's all these cats screaming and throwing things and going crazy, and this tune just evolved." Kind of cool. Like there's a protest going on, and they're inside making this record, and there's just like all this excitement and energy. And for me, September represents like the change of seasons. Something new is coming. I'm actually wearing my Dragonfly shirt today, which represents transformation. Coincidence, but it all ties into me. Your lyrics, you kind of change it a bit, And so the lyrics for your track is, do you remember the very first night of September? You were acting all nice at the Bender. It's very like kind of nostalgic, right?
So can I tell you a funny story?
Yeah.
Like here in Scandinavia, I don't think a lot of people know what a Bender is.
Okay.
And in the
you know
US,
what a Bender is? Here.
Yeah, we know what the Bender is because it's American culture. Like it's going to like this
to ruin your life.
Huh?
It's American culture to ruin your life.
No, but it's an American phrase. Like it comes from the US and here in Scandinavia we don't like know the phrase like the Bender. And I was on Norwegian television trying to replicate that story like about the Bender and saying to the host and to the TV station like this was live TV like what the Bender was. And the hostess she started laughing so bad because she thought like the Bender was like a guy having his like Bender.
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah.
And
this was on live TV.
National television.
Yeah. Okay.
You just show a picture of like Cheech and Chong, and be like, "This is Bender."
Yeah, and no, it was just hilarious. So there's been a few funny stories about that song, like me trying to talk about the song on Norwegian, Norwegian news. Yeah, here we are having a good time. It's all about the Bender. So.
Yeah. So the Bender, the concept may not be that familiar with the Norwegian people, but the song, the original song September, is recognizable in the culture.
And it's a cool thing to take such a iconic, because that song for me, like I remember when Earth, Wind and Fire played the Nobel Peace Prize in Oslo back in the early 2000, I think it was 2008 or 2009. I was like 17, 18 years old. It was such an iconic show, like them being on stage, the bass player, like he's such a character. And I remember like, I said to myself, if I one day can be standing on Nobel Peace Prize and play my own songs, like I would rock as much as the Earth, Wind and Fire. And then in 2018, I ended up playing Nobel Peace Prize. I didn't play September, but I played my own tunes. In the back of my mind, since the dawn of my career, where I got to this point where I am today, because remixing songs,
right.
I thought, why can't we do this remake of September? Because we got the blessings from all the writers. And I think like we made justice to that song with this EDM tune where people can play it in the clubs and sing along, just in a different way, in a new modern way. So
it's a nice fresh take on it. How's the reception been from your fans?
No, it's been great.
Yeah.
The music video's gotten like over like I think it's close to like 2 million views now on YouTube, and it has like 6-7 million plays on Spotify, and so it's been good. Yeah,
that's awesome. You mentioned about you being part of the Nobel Prize ceremony. Yeah.
Nobel Peace Prize.
The Nobel Peace Prize ceremony, and I wanted to talk to you about some of your advocacy, because I know that it's very important to you, climate, some of the stuff that you've done with that, and so I was reading that. So your 1 in a Million tour. You, according to Billboard, your goal was to offset the carbon footprint by calculating the costs from travel and energy resources down to the clothing, food, and travel of every ticket buyer, and then donating those costs back to the United Nations climate change initiatives. That's amazing. And then also, according to Digital Music News, in 2018, you announced a climate positive music tour in Europe. And the tour achieved the United Nations certification as a Climate Neutral Now program. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
First artist in the world.
It's literally cool.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. Where did this come from? This interest in incorporating this into your touring schedule?
First of all, like coming from a country with natural resources, like we have like water supply here in Norway are just incredible. And even though like we are an oil nation, like the Norwegian population and people in Norway, like we are seeking towards new energy, like to the earth stable. And right now, like we're in this section of the earth where everything is kind of like going downwards.
Yeah.
Like the metrics are going up, and the climate crisis is a fact. And then we have people in the world like denying it, and it's very, for me, it's coming from a small town with like growing up like in the woods, like with a lot of lumber, and it's so important for me to take care of nature. And I don't feel guilt, but my work isn't exactly like climate positive, you know, like me flying all around the world and playing like all these nightclub shows. And so I talked with my girlfriend about this many years ago, and she had the same vision as me. Why can't we try to make my career to do something good? I don't want to stop doing what I'm doing because I love playing music and I love traveling the world, playing for people and being with people. But I also want to contribute like positive, and this is something that I'm proud of doing, you know. So I was the first artist in the world doing it, and that as in fact, like for me, that was a shock. Like I thought like so many others, like so many bigger artists in the world would have jumped on this sooner, but apparently nobody did.
The band Pearl Jam, they made it a point to do it.
I think a lot of the artists have done it lately. Like as I've seen Alan Walker, for example, like when it comes like a lot of like Norwegian artists have jumped on it, and probably like international artists as well. But I don't take pride in it because I felt it came very naturally to jump on it. And then on my latest tour with two friends, we were actually climate positive. So
cool.
we teamed up with this new type of like I won't say like way of like restoring oxygen into the atmosphere, but it basically like in Finland they have like these trees where the carbon neutral is like being drawn into the trees, and then they cut down the trees and they make them into cubic like compact cubic boxes, and they sell them as energy, and then they grow new trees.
Wow. Wow.
So it's a bit complicated, but and especially for me, like trying to talk about this, like, and I'm Norwegian, and my English is like, you know, in this COVID times, like I don't speak that much English as I do when I tour.
Because you're home.
I feel like my English is backfiring me, but basically, like if you want to read more about it, I can send you a link about it.
You're doing great. We understand every word you're saying.
Yeah.
And Ryan and I do not speak your native tongue, so you win.
Yeah.
No.
Thank you, though.
Not at all. That's really neat. I was reading there bands like Coldplay where they were taking a break from touring because of the effect it was having on the environment, and I love that your approach was try to find a solution.
Yeah,
and I haven't followed up with what I read about Coldplay. Maybe since then they've incorporated something since that article.
I think they've done that because I saw them having a press is it called press announcement?
Press conference.
Yeah,
press conference.
Yes.
And they were talking about exactly the same thing, like speaking with the United Nations.
But they could afford to do that. Like there's people that are just starting that don't have that luxury. Coldplay, check your privilege.
I'm not going to trash talk Coldplay because I feel like they're doing so much great. Like when it comes to work against like powerness, like and feeding children in the world, and like they're doing so much great. So maybe they have different agendas, you know. Maybe they want to do others. Like their mindset is all about like Africa, for example, and feeding children. But I'm doing that too, I'm trying to do everything, but being like a, when you haven't reached like this level and you're not on the bottom, but you're in the middle.
Yes,
it's hard to do everything. But
right.
I'm trying my best. So on my last tour, we donated every ticket, like $1 of every ticket went to fuck cancer in the United States, and we've done that a couple of times now. So
it's more than most people do.
I can't talk for other people, but
I interviewed every single person on Earth, and I'm telling you, you do more than most.
That's awesome. So Matoma, we are coming to the end of segment 1. We're going to take a short break, and when we get back, I'd love to talk more about your influences in your past and kind of like pick your brain on your mindset, because you have such a great energy about you, and I love this advocacy stuff, and I'd love to learn more about where this comes from. So we'll be right back after the short break, and we'll continue with Matoma. Welcome back to Life Rhythms Radio Show. I'm your host, Ryan Skyy. I'm joined again by Matoma, my special guest for today, Norwegian DJ. How you doing? Happy to have you.
I'm doing great. And I was just going with the flow, like you were introducing me so well. So I was just like enjoying the moment.
Thank you. Welcome back.
But how about yourself? Like you're a good producer and DJ, so it's amazing to have people that are genuinely so interested in music,
Yes.
For some people are interested in art, some people are interested in cars, but I feel like music is like this mutual language that everybody understands. And as long as you make music with passion and you make music with love and with care, and that the message of the songs are like, I want to impact somebody with my songs or my music, it's always great. And for me, I could tell that your passion for this and your passion for your music is just incredible. So
thank you. I really appreciate that. It's so cool to see how music connects us. And this show, I'm very passionate about this show specifically because personal growth is so important to me. And it's so cool to the more guests that I have on the show, the more I'm seeing how much personal growth, meditation, and staying grounded and all of these sorts of things, it connects a lot of us producers, especially in the dance world. I feel
like in the dance world, like everybody is connected, and then you have a couple ones that want to be like, untouchable, like they have their image, and like, but you find that in sports, you find that in like Wall Street industry, like you find it like all over the place. So I'm just really grateful to be surrounded by talented people and that have the same type of energy as me, because you feed off energy. It's so important to, if you have people in your life that influences you badly, it's so important to get them away from your energy zone.
Draining.
I love that what you said about feeding off the energy, because so when I prepare for my show, I write down all kinds of quotes and things that relate to the topic. And I wrote something down. I didn't know if I was going to use it, but this was really interesting to me, and it reminds me of what you just said. Physics states that all things in life vibrate at a certain frequency. And when two things have a similar frequency and one is activated or begins to vibrate, it automatically causes the other one to resonate or vibrate. For example, if you have two guitars and they're tuned to each other and they're placed close together, if the C string on one guitar is activated, the C string on the other guitar will be activated. And together they will vibrate due to acoustic resonance.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
That's beautiful.
And that happens with people, right?
Yeah. That's just plain physics. And I don't believe in, I'm not a very religious guy, because like coming from Norway and like 90% of the Norwegian population is atheists. But
really,
I believe in but we call ourselves like happy religious people, because we, like, when it's Christmas Eve, we go to church and we sing Christmas songs, but that's pretty much what we do. Oh. So, but one thing I believe in is energy and karma. I believe that if you put goodness out in the world, you will get goodness back to you.
Are you also maybe not as religious and more on the spiritual side, or?
To be honest, I'm not very religious or spiritual. I just believe that if you are a good person and you spread love and positivity and good energy, you see people for who they are. You don't judge. You open up your arms and you hug everybody. Like, no, it's so important. Yeah, we're not allowed to hug, but we can do like a
digital
computer hug, digital hug. But what I was saying is that it's so important to show love, and I feel like we have it in us to show love, but it's just our cultural barriers that makes it difficult to show it on our first meeting. So if I'm Norwegian and I go to Italy, I might struggle like understanding the culture. But one thing a human person knows when you see another human is if that person is good or bad, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I have a son, and he's turning 1 on the 17th of this month. And I can tell you that babies are definitely not born racist. They're not born hating anything. They're born just loving everything that comes in front of them. So if we all acted like babies, maybe this world would be a better place.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's so much pride in everything and power and like, no. I think the world would be a better place if there were more Matomas in the world, because I'm just here to spread love and positivity, you know?
Yeah, on your Instagram it says Hakuna Matoma.
Yeah. Hakuna Matoma.
Cute, yeah.
Oh, you're a dad joke. I love it.
Yeah.
I just can't wait to be Matoma.
I want to share a quote of yours that I read in Billboard, because I think for listeners this really sums up to me kind of like the way you approach life. I really loved it. So in a Billboard article you said, "You can have bad days. I have bad days. I wake up and feel really shitty, but that doesn't mean I should put my shitty energy on another person, because they don't deserve that. I've learned this from my father and my mom, that you should always wake up in the morning and be happy about your life, because you never know when it ends. You should always think this is your last day on earth, and go out with a bang. Go out with positivity. Go out with good energy, and go out with the best of yourself, because life is too short to not." Well, that's all you. That's you, brother.
No, you know, it's definitely me. It's just when I say it, I probably say it like in a more like they've written it in good English, but it sums up basically my whole mentality. It's why should you, like, it's okay to have a bad day, and it's okay to tell somebody you're having a bad day, but you shouldn't take that bad energy onto your teammate, or like your friends, or like the person or anyone, or like the person you're meeting in the store, or like I've always, when I'm having a bad day, you know what makes me having a good day? By smiling to people and asking them, how are you doing? Like, how are you? Like, the other day I was feeling like terrible. I didn't have much energy, and I went to the store, and the person that was standing there, I think he had the same thing, because he had woken up like very early in the morning, 6 a.m., gone to work, probably very hectic, stressful, maybe didn't have like the best night of sleep. And I ended up standing there talking with him for 20 minutes. And we both ended up smiling.
Yeah.
And my grandfather, he always said to my mother, sadly he passed before I met him, but he always said this to my mother, and I remember my mom said this to me when I was younger: you should always meet people with a smile and say hello, how are you? If they don't smile back, you should smile more and ask more questions. If they then don't smile, you should even reach out more and give of your energy. And if they then don't end up being nice to you, you can say, fuck off.
Yeah, at least you tried.
No, I'm just joking. It wasn't fuck off, but then you're allowed to leave.
Right.
So, I don't know. I feel deeply about like taking care of other people. Like I worked at the Olders home when I was in high school. I had an assistant job being like assistant personal, a guy in a wheelchair, like he needed help, and I helped him out, and we became really close friends. And just looking at his life and seeing that obstacles that for me is just daily routines, like daily stuff, going to the grocery store, and for him, like, it was a hassle, like it took him 2 hours to go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
It gives perspective in life.
It does.
It gives you, like, we all can go in the streets and feel like, oh, we're superhumans, like we're super, like, and every, all people have super abilities, but it's not flying or it's not being strong. It's about, like, goodness. It's about what you can give to others.
I relate to what you're saying. I haven't shared this on the show before, but in my spare time, I teach autistic and special needs kids music. Yeah. And I kind of fell into it, and I didn't realize how much they would impact me until I started working with them.
Yeah.
These kids are so pure in spirit, and they have such goodness in them, and just being, when I'm around them, it makes me so present. And just to see their struggles and what they deal with, and yet they still have such a positive attitude. It's inspiring to me, and it, like, as you had said, it gives you perspective, and it kind of makes you look at your own life and in a new way.
And it's like, it's also easy for people to look at people with handicaps, or with, like, that makes them different from 90% of the rest of us. I don't see, like, you shouldn't see it as that. Like, they give life to this planet, and if we don't if we take that for granted, like, shame on us. Seriously, like, when people, like, judge people before they have met them, and when people, like, just with what's going on in the United States right now, it breaks my heart. But it's a necessarily thing that is happening, because it awakes something inside of people. I hope that in a couple of years the world will be a better place for everybody. Everyone deserves to be treated equally.
Yeah, it's a challenging time that's happening right now. I do think we're going through an awakening, though. I think that a couple of years we'll look back and we'll say this is one of the best things that has happened to the human race. They've done a study recently interviewing Americans. They did like a sample group, and they found that it was like 90% of the people that they interviewed said that they felt that they have become a better person through the pandemic, because they've had more time to themselves to really kind of sit and process things. And, when you're really busy, you can kind of avoid stuff in your life and just kind of put things off to the side, and you just stay busy and active and in your life. But when you have this, like, forced stillness, you're forced to kind of look inward and take and see where you're at, take stock in who you are as a person, and what you're doing or not doing, and start to make changes. So I do see something positive coming from it.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. I have so much personal connection to the US and to your country, because, like, I toured there for so many years. Like, since 2015, I've been to 48 states.
Wow, you beat me. I'm 44.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, no, I've been to 48 states. I only missing Alaska and another state, like, up north, close to the border of Canada.
Maine?
Yeah, that sounds pretty much correct.
Yeah, makes sense. You're missing the most like western, northwest, and northeastern states. Yeah. I've never been to Alaska or Maine myself, so.
Yeah, no, I haven't been there, but Alaska is beautiful. It reminds me a lot of Norway, even though I haven't been there, but I've seen, like, movies from Alaska, so.
I'd rather go to Norway.
Yeah. Norway is a beautiful place, We have free healthcare, we have free schools.
Low crime.
Low crime.
How much is music integrated into school in Norway?
It's pretty much from kindergarten. You have, like, 1 or 2 hours every week. And then in high school, like, if you're very musical interested, you can take, like, music school. You could either do, like, athletics, like sports, or you can do photography, or you can do music, or you can do electrician. Or
how has that
certain
influenced you, having music integrated into your schooling as a young kid?
It didn't influence me much until I started when I applied for college, and when I started like music school, like properly taking like a degree in music. That's when I really felt the impact. But we had, like, after school, I had like this hour where I was playing piano. Like I was going to piano classes for an hour, and I think that really helped me.
This was in high school?
No, since I was 8 years old until I was 18.
Were you naturally drawn to the piano, or was it like, did your parents encourage you to take up piano?
No, they only encouraged me they encouraged me to do everything. So I was trying out cross-country skiing, I was trying out football, swimming, and then I also ended up playing the piano. But first I started playing the drums because my brother was playing the drums.
Okay.
But he felt like more drag towards playing drums, and I didn't feel it that much. So I started playing the keyboard, and then I remember my music teacher. He was playing Fiorelisa, you know.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was in his lunch break because I always came early so I could listen to him play, because he was so talented. And then he went over, like, and he was eating his lunch, and I asked, can I try the piano? And without me knowing, I played Fiorelisa, the exact same.
From ear? By ear? You played it by ear?
Yeah, by ear. Yeah, by ear. And he said, Tom, you need to stop playing the keyboard and start playing the piano. So I started playing the piano.
That's cool.
And so when I was 16 years old, I wanted to become a classical pianist. I think just always reading notes and not like discovering your own sounds and making your own music was like a barrier for me. So I stopped playing the piano. And then my dad, he was or no, he wasn't disappointed, but he was a bit sad because he felt like my talent was going to waste. But he didn't want to push me on doing something that I didn't like. So instead he said, oh, there's this documentary about a producer duo from Norway that just moved to New York to live by their music, and they're called Stargate.
Yeah.
And they showed the documentary on the television in Norway. I watched it, and the next day I had bought myself a laptop and Cubase, and I started producing.
Wow, the rest is history. That's awesome.
Yeah.
The comment that you made about the classical music and playing, constantly reading notes, I can relate to that because I went to college. I went to Performing Arts Conservatory and originally studied theater, musical theater. I didn't like that I was always performing someone else's work, someone else's story, someone else's song, and I always felt like, they can kind of take you out of a role.
You want to be the guy that gives the storytelling.
Yeah, and I was always writing my own songs in college anyways and doing my own thing. So after college, I just went straight into the music industry.
It's a good thing you've been working on a lot of original music now, Mr. Man.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I want to write a musical someday, but
let's do it.
But yeah, I can relate to that about doing other.
Don't stop. Only make moves when your heart's in it, and leave the phrase "the sky's the limit."
Can you tell us a little bit about what kind of music did you listen to growing up? What were some of your musical influences?
Everything, and I mean everything. Like that's so. Like when I say that, and I say that I listen a lot to Enya, and I listen to classical music, and then coming off like Old Thing Back and Party on the West Coast, and like all these hip hop collaborations and these pop records, people get like, oh wow, I didn't think that, and they like smiles. But for me, like being influenced by everything, just walking on the street, if there's a street musician playing guitar, or like if I'm in a country, like for example, me and my girlfriend, we backpacked in Asia. We went to China, and we went to the Philippines, and we went to Cambodia, we went to Vietnam, Singapore. It was just so much flavors to take in. And in China especially, like all the music there was just so great, and it gave me It gave me inputs, and I think like if you just listen to one thing, you stop being creative in your mind. Like you have to listen to everything. So I listen to podcasts, I listen to classical music, to rock, to even metal. My brother was in the metal band when he was 15 years old. So I really experienced that fully on.
Oh, that's cool.
There's nothing like Norwegian black metal.
Oh, don't even start.
Norwegian emo.
They are their own cult, you know.
They're their own planet.
Yeah, they are.
Ryan, they dress like they're in Game of Thrones.
Oh,
and they
yeah?
play extremely heavy music. It's amazing.
Wow.
But you know, they are extremely, like, if you don't take the really, really dark, heavy black metal people, but you only take the black metal and death metal, like most of them, because I've met a lot of them, they are actually quite nice people.
Oh, yeah, they're sweet.
Yeah, super sweet. So it's more of the...
That's till they release it.
Role play and being like a different character and like living this fantasy and I take off my hat for them because I could never do that. Like I could never have the patience of growing hair down to my ass. And
that's dedication right there.
Yeah, that's dedication because that takes a long time. In high school, I had here. What does it like? My shoulders. Yeah, here down to my shoulders. And
last week, my hair was in my mouth. Literally.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, wow.
I like this length. Yeah.
You know that Lucas Graham is actually donating his hair right now for
Locks of Love.
Yeah. I've been in the studio with him a couple of times, and he's also a really good example of like Scandinavians, like just being. I'm very proud of being Scandinavian because.
He reps it well, and so do you. Ryan,
thank you.
You're of course. I'm your translator.
Matoma, I was reading in an EDM.com article that you had said that above all my inspiration will always be incredible voices that can move you and fill you with different emotions. And that spoke to me because I'm the same way. I'm drawn to voices first, especially soulful voices, like a soulful R&B voice. It just gets me so deep, and that is the start of everything for me. And so with you, it comes down to the voice? Yeah, like for me, even when I remixed Piggy, just take him as an example, he was an entertainer, like, and he had something special. Like, you know, they all had, like, and have these ingredients that makes them shine. It makes them different. It makes them stand out. And it's the same, like, when it comes to singing artists, like, I worked with so many great talents like Becky Hill. I love Becky. Wow. And it's so great to see that she's finally getting the spotlight that she deserves, because she has been working her ass off like day and night. And same with MNEK. I love him too. Yeah. Yeah, like I write so many, like I've written so many songs with MNEK, and his energy, and he's just a master when it comes to songwriting. Like, he's a magician. I don't know where he gets it, but like basically Bruce Not Broken, a song I have, and also a new song coming out this Friday with Harvey called Good Vibes. We wrote those songs in like 4 hours from we started until we were done. Wow. All lyrics, everything was done in like 4 hours because he's so quick, and I just... And the soul in his voice. And I also like that I can hear like a 90s R&B influence in his writing, and that I'm a 90s R&B guy just from growing up, and so I love the melodies. He's really the melodies are just incredible. I'll make love to you. Funny story, that Boyz II Men record, I remember showing it to my mom. I was in like first grade, and I didn't really know the content of the I'll Make Love to You, and I was like, I just love the singing, and I remember playing it to my mom, and they're like, throw your clothes on the floor. My mom's like, what are you listening to? Like, I don't know, I like it. Yeah. One more thing I wanted to say about like my collaborations, like, and I'm always in seek of like finding new talent and finding great voices that sticks out, like they are different. And I was such a huge fan of Need to Breathe, and when I had the opportunity to work with Wilderwoods, it was just he's the lead singer of Need to Breathe. I was just so grateful because Keep It Simple is one of my
my favorite productions and also my favorite songs that I made, because it's just so uplifting and it gives you exactly what you need.
Yeah.
It gives you perspective that you should keep your life simple.
That's a great way to end this episode. We come to the end. I love that. That's such a beautiful way to
but
wrap
you know,
this
like
up.
every person strives for their own success, and you can't measure success. The only way you can measure success is by being happy and looking in the mirror with a smile on your face and love yourself. That's when you're actually.
And actually, I wanted to ask you. I'm glad you mentioned that because I had written down here that you had said before that you define the word success as inner happiness, and I thought that was awesome.
Yeah,
something to think about.
It's that simple, and being a DJ and getting caught up in this like life where you have residency in Vegas and you see how crazy people can spend money, and I'm not there to judge because I go there and I play there. For me, if I'm going to Vegas, I'm going there with my best friends, with my friends where I like the people I want to die for. And it's enough by just having a drink and be dancing. I don't need to buy a table and show off. Like some people, they have the tendency of like showing off and like, oh, I'm so important and like you need me more than you know, like that type of attitude. And the people I need in my life is the people that I can talk to, I can share stories with, I can go on trips with, like all my like my team, my agent Ferry, my manager Andrew, like my other agent Anita, even my business manager and my A&Rs at Atlantic. I call them my best friends because we talk, we do golf together, like we share stories, we talk on a deep level, like. And even if my music career would stop tomorrow, I would still be their friends, you know?
Yeah. And
that's the people you need in your life. You don't need people taking your energy and like, there's this phrase like, if I'm your friend, you need to give me something. No, I don't. Being your friend should be your privilege of having a friendship that means something more than just like giving and taking. It's a balance, like, and that's where we come to karma. Everything is surrounded by balance and energy.
And the energy,
and for me, it's just so important to have people in my life that cares about me for the person I am, not for what I'm doing, how much money I have on my bank account, and like how like when I get stopped in the streets, and like it's the person I'm inside, you know. That's what matters in life.
Yeah, what you had said about connecting with your team and the energy, it all comes through in your music. If someone didn't know you, they could just listen to your music, and there's a happiness and joy and depth of the music, just, you know, the Matoma's music. So
thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming on the show.
No, thank you, and thank you for having the opportunity. And again, You guys are great, and I really enjoyed talking with you. I apologize for my slappy English, but I tried my best here.
Good.
Like being on leave in Norway, not flying around the world, spreading love and positivity, what I would love to do. But I hope 2021 will be different, and I hope being back on the road, spreading love and positivity, because I know when I'm on the road and meeting people where my music has an impactness and meaning, it gives the most joy in my life, you know. You can't explain it, basically. Like, I've had people saying that they've gone through like really, really personal stuff in their life, both happy and sad. That connection between an artist and a person, like it's priceless.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys. Seriously,
listeners, check out Matoma's track, The Bender. Check out his EP, Rhythm. Yeah.
Go on Spotify and listen to all my songs, because I think they will give you a Hakuna Matoma.
Yes.
What a wonderful life.
Awesome. Thanks for coming on the show today. It was a pleasure.